Let's look at the database task from the 2023 Higher Admin and IT assignment. Now, I've just brought up the SQA course specification that actually shows you what you may be tested on or what you need to know about databases. You have to understand about creating relationships. Now, normally in the questions, the relationships have already been set up, but you never know, but certainly understanding about that. Being able to search the database, so that's being able to do a query on multiple criteria. You may have to then do a calculation from a field or multiple fields within a query. You may be asked to create and modify a form, and also create and modify a report. Now, I've actually also just brought up the 2023 to-do list to see the various tasks that you were being asked to do, and you'll see there that the fourth one down, find suitable festivals and display results, is the database question. So let's now go and have a look at it. So let's now look at the question, and you'll see there it's come in the form of an online chat with additional information which I've just shown down the right hand side of the page here, asking you to find suitable festivals, printing them as a report showing the festival name, location, country, dates and discounted price. So there's all the information that we need for the report, asking you to group the information by country and sorting it on festival name, assuming sorting alphabetically by a festival name. It talks about the report, giving it an appropriate header and inserting a logo. So there's all the information we need. You'll see actually underneath there, I just brought up a screenshot of the e-files again, and you'll see there's only one database file in there, NFS Clients. So that is the one that we are going to have to use. The customer is asking for specific details. Again, that gives you a clue that it is a database query. First, it will help you and then turn the query into a report. I think that is the easiest way to do it. So let's get going with this question. So I've opened up the NFS Clients database and I can see there's 3 tables. And what I would recommend is to spend a few moments, open up each table and just familiarise yourself with what's inside each one. So looking at the facilities table here, I can see we've got a festival ID and facilities available and a whole list of different facilities. That's in the first one. In the festivals table, there's all the names of the festivals, locations, the country, the dates and so on with a festival ID. And then we have got the prices table. And seeing there price band, a full day and a half day. The other thing to do, I would suggest, is if you go into database tools and look at relationships, it will show you if any relationships have been set up. Now, they normally are set up for you, but you never know. And just looking here, I can actually see there's a one-to-one relationship between the festivals and facilities. So that's linking these tables together. And there's a one-to-many. It's a common one there from pricing, again, linking into the festival. So we can do a query. We can use all 3 tables if we need to, because they are all linked together in a relationship. I'll just close that down and then we can get started on the query. So there's different ways to tackle the query, and what I suggest is knowing that you have a report coming and looking at the fields that's required in the report is to use them when you set up your query first of all. And we can see that the report required is to show the festival name, location, country and dates. So that's actually where I'm going to start when I create my query. To create the query, we go into create there, query design. I'll just open that up. You'll see the tables available are down the right hand side. If I just left double click into each one, it brings them up. And once again, that you can see the relationships that we showed you earlier, and just stretch it out to make sure that you can see everything. So what we said was we know that we need to have the festival name. That's required in the report, so I might as well you can click and drag or just double click on it to bring it into the field. We know that we need location and country and dates. Remember as well that as you're building up your query, you have the run button up here in the ribbon, and I always think it's quite a good idea just to keep running the query every so often just to check to see what has become available. So let's now look at the question and see what else we need for this. So let's now look at a copy of the text chat and what the customer is actually looking for. You'll see the first thing she's been asked is for location and dates, and she talks about her mum living in Wales and Maria herself living in Scotland, and either of these countries would be suitable. So there's the first search. It's got to be Wales or Scotland. There's two ways to do it. Under the country and under criteria, you could actually just type in not England, because if you remember, there's three countries, Scotland, Wales and England, so not England, and if you run it, only brings up Scotland and Wales. The other way that you could do it is you could actually just type in here Wales or Scotland, and that would, by the nature of it, exclude England, and you'll see there you get the same result. The actual SQA sort of market solutions actually had as not England, so I'll just leave it like that. We can run it just to double check, and that's the first part done. Okay, what's next then? Also looking for dates, and she's been told that some shows on our website do not have dates as they're not open to the visitor. So there's no point in showing that for this particular customer. So again, a quick run to look at the dates. You'll see there are blanks here. We don't want them to be included in our query. So we go back to design view, and what we have to put in here for the criteria is not null. So essentially, so long as the cell has something in it, it's not null. So we can run that and see, and that's just tightened it up for us. Okay, what's next then? It says here from the customer that her mum has mobility issues and she would need to have either disabled parking or a drop-off point. So let's now go back to design and decide what field that we need. Now, if you remember when we opened up the tables, the first one we opened up was facilities, and there was a whole lot of information about facilities available at each festival. So let's bring down now facilities available, and let's run it and see what that looks like. And you can see here that there's a whole list of facilities, and disabled parking is sometimes it's sitting in the middle of the list, and sometimes it's at the beginning. And we've also got the drop-off point at various parts of the information. So how do we only find disabled parking or drop-off point? Well, back into design view, and for facilities available, we are going to use the wild card. That's the asterisk. So if you're looking through a list of text and there may be text before it and there may be text after it, your best bet is to use the wild card. So what we'll do here is do the asterisk, and we know it's disabled parking. We don't actually even need the whole word disabled parking. Just by typing in disabled like that, and then the asterisk sort of shows there could be text before it, there could be text after it, or the customer said that so long as there's a drop-off point, and again with my asterisks here, drop-off, I do have to remember to put the wee dash here, or it's not going to work like that. And again, there could be text before the word drop-off, and there could be text after the word drop-off. And let's just run that and see if it's pulled up what we need. And I can see there for each one, in fact, we do have what we're looking for, so that's fine. Back to design view and find out what is next. Now, she talks about I am a horticultural member. Are there member discounts? And again, just looking at the tables here, there is a field here, UKH member question mark. So if I bring that field down and run it, I can see, stretch along here, that where there's a tick, it means they are accepting UKH members, and they're obviously that festival there doesn't have one. So to deal with that, we have to go back into the design and into criteria, and we're going to just type in yes. You could type in true, but yes will bring up just where there's a tick against the UKH member. Going back and having a look to see what else is required, and it talks about here you're going to get a 20% discount on a full day ticket. All right, so next thing we have to do is, well, we know it's a full day price that we're looking for, so we can bring that field down, so it's the full day price. And let's just run that and see what's happening here. And there we have the full day price. But we're being asked here to work out, she's going to get a 20% discount. And actually, if you do remember from the sort of the question, the report asks us to show there the name, location, country, dates, and discounted price. So we're going to work that out from the query. So let's just do that now. So let's now do a calculated field based on the full day ticket price. Now, if you're putting in a new field, we're just going to go into the column to the right of the full day, and we've got to give the field its own name, and we're going to call it discounted price. This is actually what's required for it in the report, so we might as well just use the same label, discounted price. Now, if you're going to be referencing another field in the query, in this case it's the full day price, I'm going to do a colon and a square bracket, and I'm going to type in exactly the spelling for the full day. So we're just typing in full day, just the way the field looks to the column to the left, and we're going to close off the square bracket. And now we're just doing a simple multiplication. The asterisk for this is meaning to multiply. If the customer's getting 20% off, it means they're paying 80% of the full day's price. So I'll just times that by 0.8 to represent 80% of the price. I'll tick there just to show it, so when we run the query we can check. Let's run it and just scroll along, and we can see that, yep, we do have the discounted price has been calculated, although it's not been formatted properly. No problem, let's go back into Design View, back to the new field we've just created, and if we right click, and you'll see at the bottom there we've got Properties, and you'll see we can format it to currency, and we'll just make sure for decimal places we'll fix it at 2, like that. Let's run it and see what happens, and we can see that now we do have the correct field and it's been formatted, and now we're ready to move on to the report. Now, when we close off the query, it's named as query 1, and if we want to save it, I would recommend that we do give it another name, a more appropriate name, or refer to the task or something, not just query 1. So I'll just call it, let's call it customer query, and click on OK. So now we have what we need in order for us to create the report. So let's do that now. I brought up the question, it's sitting in the right hand side of my screen here, reminding us we need to show the festival name, location, country, dates, and discounted price. So to create a report, we're in the Create tab. Report Wizard, I would suggest, is the easiest way to do it. There are other ways, but I would use the Report Wizard. The query is there, and in fact all the tables are there, including the query, and we can see that we need, first of all, is the festival name. I'll just use the single arrow to bring one field across at a time. We also need location and country and dates, and the discounted price, that's the new one that we created in the calculated field in the query. We need that one as well. So that's the first thing that we need to do. Click on Next. It's also looking for grouping the information. Well, at this stage is how to view the data. We do want to view it but by the festival, so we'll leave it where it is. Click on Next, but we do want to group by country. So we'll just click country and then group there. We click on Next. It's asking in the question that we have to sort it by festival name. I just assume sorting alphabetically. So with the drop down here, you'll see that I do have the option to sort by festival name in ascending order. So that is fine. Let's click on Next. The layout, I would just keep it as stepped and portrait. It's not asked us to do anything else. Click on Next, and then we have to give it an appropriate heading. Well, it's just there. It's just down there as festivals. I think to make it maybe a little bit more specific, we could just call it, let's put in suitable festivals for, I think the client was called Maria, like that. Just something more meaningful than what was there before, and then click on Finish. So here we have the report, and I can see that it's not quite right. I can't quite see the full label for the discounted price. That's easily fixed. We're just going to close the print preview, and you'll see there that we're now in the design part of it. And what we're going to do here is just look at the labels and see if we can narrow them or stretch them or move them just to make everything fit. So if I just, let's say I narrow the space for the dates, I'll do that first of all, and then I stretch out. So what I'm doing, this one here is the actual label you're seeing at the top of the report, and the second label here is the actual, all the various prices. So I just tend to keep them the same and just view it and see what it looks like. And that actually has done the trick. I can now see that the dates don't fit. There's not enough space for that. So I'll just go back into the design view and I can actually narrow down the space we need for location. I'll just do that very quickly, and then I can stretch out the dates so that we can read everything in the report. And now we have the report where everything can be seen. The last thing we need to do is to create the, insert the logo. So let's do that now. So here we are back in the design of the report, and we're needing to put a logo into the header. There's two ways you can do this. If you click on the logo button here, it will bring up the logo that you're looking for, and it will actually kind of size it in a particular way. This is actually is quite small. It's to be in the right hand side, and I could then just sort of manually stretch it to make it fit. Or if you're not using the logo, if you just go into Insert Image, you'll get taken to the same place. The only difference here is you can actually sort of stretch it out and make it fit like that. Again, we could have a quick view report there and say that looks fine. The only slight tweak, but you don't have to do this. But for me, I just would like to maybe just center the report heading here just to match the logo. But that's being very pernickety. So that is how you create a database report, and this is the one for the 2023 Hire Admin and IT assignment.